So you saw in one of my older videos how many Aputure lights I own. Then why did I buy these cheap Godox lights? So I normally try to buy Aputure or Amaran lights because we're kind of embedded into the Sidus ecosystem. So this thing started because I was initially looking for these small like panel lights to be able to use in run and gun scenarios, which we could quickly mount a V-mount light and just power it up in remote locations. And once I went through the entire Aputure Amaran light up, there's nothing like this. And we own Novus lights, but they're very huge. They're not kind of what I'm thinking about, which landed me after a huge B&H and other website search into these Godox lights. So I went ahead, you know, did the YouTube thing, and I could barely find one or two videos talking about it. I couldn't even find any video about the 3-light kit. So the first thing that surprised me was how huge this case was. I paid literally, I think I got them on a sale, so I don't know the current price, but I bought them for just a little over $500, and that's the 3-light kit. So I was surprised when this case showed up. It was bigger than I thought it would be, but this is a really nice case with wheels and everything. I would think a case like this would be like $100 by itself. So to pay $500 or a little over $500 for 3 lights, and then to my surprise, and maybe I should have paid more attention, they also have these 3 cheapo stands that go in the case. Again, nothing that I'm gonna use actively, but hey, it doesn't hurt if they're already in it. But the main thing was I was looking for something, as you see, really lightweight. These lights are very lightweight, small lights, very thin, and the biggest thing being is that obviously we can power it by AC power like I'm doing here, or you can mount a V-mount battery on it. And they do make a bicolor version. It's called LP1200 bi, but I wanted to obviously get RGB lights. As you've seen, I just think in 2025 I want to be investing in RGB lights, just because you never know when we need to add green, magenta to the light, or just be able to throw a quick color or on a backdrop or something like that. So I bought the R version. Like I said, this wasn't expensive. I mean, they're not cheap, but for what I paid, I think what you're getting is incredible. Lights have come down a lot in price. So I paid, like I said, a little over $500. I got 3 of these lights, this case, and 3 of these stands. And then obviously it does come with AC adapter, so you can plug it into the wall. But my favorite way to power these is just with the V-mount battery. And now you can assume how much battery life you're gonna get. So if this is pulling in about 100 to 120 watts of a wall, a 98 watt hour battery is going to give you about 40 to 45 minutes. You can obviously plug in a big battery, you know, those 200, 300 watt batteries, but be careful. Biggest thing I noticed, again, you get what you pay for, right? The locking points on this isn't the strongest. So this is entirely, I think this is the only metal part on the whole light. This light is literally plastic. These knobs are plastic. So chances are the heavier the battery you put on there, it's not gonna last. Actually, you know what? Let's try it. Where's one of my bigger batteries? Well, I don't have the 200 watts in this case, but even this is just a 98 watt hour battery. But as you see, putting this on there, and even if it's slightly loose, you know, this is gonna be very heavy. So I hope that makes sense. The locking knobs, I mean, they do so much, but a really heavy battery will basically, it may not be able to hold it. Probably wouldn't last. I think the biggest thing would be in a real environment, like if you were renting these lights out, I don't think they would last more than a few rentals. I have a strong feeling if I dropped it, it wouldn't last. But again, for what I'm paying, it's actually really priced well. And then the other thing I really like is that you can actually pull out this barn doors. So that's so incredible on a cheap light like this, that we can do that, and then they just slide right in. And let me plug it in. So, there you go. They just slide right back in, and you can lock them in, because with the barn doors on, you can't really fully tilt it. So let's say you wanted to light a person up. As you see, you have very limited range, and if you do get like that 45-degree angle, the barn door is hitting. So you may want to take the barn doors off. So the barn doors, I would say, more are just decorative. I mean, they do function, but in most scenarios, we would probably be taking them off. So why did I buy these lights? The thing is, there's a lot of times we're at conferences. We are doing something like documentary, or where we have literally 5 minutes to set up a light, and something like a cob light, how incredible they may be, it requires some time. You have to put a Fresnel on, you have to put some kind of diffusion on it, whether that's a 6x, 4x, 8x, and then you have to otherwise put a softbox on. It just requires more setup time, requires more space. And a lot of these lights, you know, they are with V-mount, but require multiple V-mount batteries. I think the 80C is the only one I think you can run with one V-mount battery. But again, it doesn't have enough throw or beam angle, I should rather say, to be able to light up a scene, for example. So lights like these are actually very incredible. We can literally throw a couple of these on our cart and just go. And in a scenario like that, quickly we just throw this on a small stand and put a V-mount on, and it's on. So I think lights like these have a use. Obviously something like this but metal casing would be better, but to be honest, where we're using these, I'm kind of treating them as disposable. If they last a year or so and we get good use out of it, then I think they're worth it. The biggest negative on this light though is, besides its build construction, is this dial. It's literally very hard to turn and maneuver, if you notice here. And obviously don't expect any DMX or any CRMX or anything like that on this light, but it does have their app that you can use. So at least you do have an app, you can wirelessly control them, but it is Bluetooth, so queuing and things like that aren't going to be what you're going to do. But again, I don't think that's what the lights are meant to be. I think these lights are meant to be where you need quick lights. You want it to be able to have that V-mount capability, and I think they even make them in smaller sizes. So if you just wanted it even smaller, they make them with NPF batteries. But again, then I think Aputure and Amaran have similar lights that you can purchase, but they don't wear something like this with a V-mount. So that's why about the 1200. I think this was the most unique light. This was also one of the cheapest RGB panel lights that I saw. I think the other thing I'm not a fan of is not a standard size. So it's something like a 12x16. I wish it was a 12x12 standard size, just because again, we're used to it, that format. But again, 12x16 is not that bad. It fits perfectly. Like I said, this case, we can easily put 3 of these in the case, and with the 3 cheapo stands, and they kind of serve their purpose. They're very light. This is very light to carry. I can just carry with my one hand and get a use out of it. So something really short. I just didn't see much on the internet. I want to make a quick video about it. And sometimes, like I said, you may own the most expensive lights like this thing over here, but it may not be the right tool for every job. Can you imagine we're running around in a conference trying to light up the 1200X? It just isn't the right tool. So a lot of times it's just finding the right tool for the right job. Yes, it's plastic. Yes, it's breakable. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but I think for the price I paid, I'm very happy. And if it even lasts 1 year, I think it would be totally worth it. So I would highly recommend it if you're looking for a solution like that. I think these lights are great. Just go in knowing that you're gonna have to be either a little careful or treat them as disposable. But the color quality is really good, and they're full RGB. So I can actually go in and see it has an HSI mode, so I can actually go in. I can change the saturation, the hue, and we can go change it to the whole fuel hue curve. I think these lights were totally worth it, considering they cost me about 175, 150 bucks per light. I think they're totally worth it. That's not even accounting for the case that you get. You could probably repurpose this or carry them together. So I think it's an incredible value. I hope this helps if you're considering these lights. I know there's not a lot of content about them out there. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Thank you for watching.